Good afternoon. Yes, much better. Thank you all for joining us for our third installment. My name is Lisa Rosetta Strum. I am a teaching artist with Literature to Life, where our mission is to perform great books that inspire young people to read and become authors of their own lives. So this performance will be about 25 minutes long. There will be a question and answer session after the performance. Normally these shows are about 60 minutes, so you're getting a nice condensed but enthralling excerpt for today. What else can I tell you? Yes, these are verbatim, the text that you're about to hear, so it comes directly from the book. So there is some strong language in this piece, just giving you a heads up. And in addition to the other pieces that we did this afternoon, which was If Beale Street Could Talk and Black Boy, we also do The Giver, The Late Homecomer, which is one of our new titles, The Incidents in the Life of a Slave Girl in Fahrenheit 451, and County of Kings. So we have quite a schedule and a roster of books to share with you. All right, so without any further ado, I'd like to introduce Kelvin Grullon, who will be performing an excerpt of The Brief and Wondrous Life of Oscar Wilde.
So, what happens at the beginning of October? What always happens to playboys like me? I got bopped. No surprise, too, given how balls out I was living. And it wasn't just any bop either. My girl Sarayan found out that I was messing around with one of her hermanas. Second time I've been caught in 2 years. A record, even for me. Yo, Sarayan went absolutely nuts. Attacked me on the e-bus, the boys laughing and running, and me pretending like I hadn't done anything, like, yo, chill, I didn't do nothing. And then suddenly, I was in the dorm room a lot, taking a stab at a story or two, watching movies with Oscar. Yo, that's crazy. You did that shit, bro. Out of nowhere. And not in the least influenced by my own shitty state, of course not, I decide that I'm going to fix Oscar's life. Yeah. One night, while he's moaning on about his sorry existence, I say, yo, do you really want to change it?
Of course I do, but nothing I've tried has been ameliorative.
Yo, I'll change your life.
Really?
Yes, really. Hey, you have to listen to me, though.
I swear an oath of obedience, my lord. When do we start?
The next morning at 6 a.m., I kick Oscar's bed.
What? What is it?
Oh, nothing much. Just the first day of your life. I really must have been in the dangle over Sarayan, which is why I threw myself something serious into Project Oscar. I mean, I have Fat Boy like Master Killer and Shallow in Temple. I'm on his ass 24/7, get him to start watching his diet and to stop talking crazy negative. He's all,
I'm ill-fated. I'm going to perish a virgin. I'm lacking in pulchritude.
Hey. Positive thoughts. Positive thoughts, mother trucker. I even bring him out with me and the boys. To which Melvin says, dime, ¿y what's next, eh? We're gonna start inviting out the homeless también? But my biggest coup of all, I get dude to exercise with me. To fucking run. Goes to show you, O really did look up to me. I can't lie. Those first times, I almost laughed. watching him huffing down George Street, keeping his head down so he won't have to see all the reactions. Hey, fat ass! The best one I hear, look, Mom, that guy is taking his planet out for a run. Dude's not into it at all. Starts getting up at 5 in the morning, so by the time I get up, he's already at his computer desk and can claim that he's in the middle of this amazingly important chapter. Yo, write it later, bitch. Look, I know this shit ain't easy for him. I seen how it is. You think people hate a fat person? Try a fat person that's trying to get thin. Okay. People suck. But what were his options? Had to do something. He did too. He did. He quit. I will run again, no more. Here I am, going the F out of my way to help this fucking idiot out, and he's pissing it right back in my face. I take this shit real personal. Yo, nah. You either run or that's it.
I don't want to do it anymore. I don't.
Stubborn, like his sister. I put my hands on him. Man, come on.
You leave me alone.
Actually shoves me. Both of us astounded. Him trembling, scared, sick. Me with my fist out, ready to kill. For 1 second, I almost let it go. Just a mistake. A mistake. But then I remember myself. I push him with both hands. Boom, boom. He flies into the fence hard. Shit, dumb. 2 days later, Lola calls from Madrid. Hey, what the fuck is your problem, Junior? I was good. And that was that. The end. I just iced them out. Halloween. Oh, Halloween. He made the big mistake of dressing up as Doctor Who. Yeah, was real proud of his costume too. When I saw him on Easton with these 2 other writing section clowns, I couldn't believe how much he looked like that fat homo Oscar Wilde. And I told them so. Yo, you look just like Oscar Wilde. To which Melvin says, hey, Oscar Wilde. Pero dime, ¿quién es Oscar Wilde? And that was it, yo. That was it. All of us started calling him that. Everybody just, hey, wow. Ew, wow. Hey, wow, you want to move your freaking feet off my chair? And the tragedy? After a couple weeks, dude actually started answering to it. This fool never got mad when we gave him shit. Kind of made a brother feel bad, you know? Yo, you know we're just playing, right, Wow?
Yeah, I know.
So we cool?
Yeah, we're cool.
And that's all it should have been, yo. Just some other fat kid that I roomed with my junior year. People always ask me, did you see the signs? Did you? Maybe I did or maybe I didn't, but what the fuck does it really matter? On our last night as roommates, Oscar housed 2 bottles of Orange Cisco that I bought him. Do you remember Orange Cisco? Huh? Do you guys know what it is? No? Liquid crack, they used to call it. So you know Mr. Lightweight is fucked up.
To my virginity!
Yo, Oscar, cool it, bro. Come on, people don't want to hear about all that.
You're right. They just want to stare at me.
Come on, bro, tranquilízate. I'm copacetic. What? Come on, Oscar, you're not pathetic. No! I said copacetic. Everyone just misapprehends me. Maybe I should have stayed with him that night. Should have sat my ass right down in this chair and told him that, yo, she's gonna be cool. But it was our last night as roommates, and I was freaking tired of him. I wanted to, with this little girl I had up on Douglas, smoke a little joint, and go to bed.
Fare thee well,
he said when I left. Fare thee well. What he did was this. Drinks a third bottle of 4-inch Cisco, then walks unsteadily down towards the New Brunswick train station with its crumbling facade and a long curve of track that shoots high over the Raritan. He stumbled out towards the river, towards Route 18, New Brunswick falling away beneath him until he was 77 feet in the air.
77 feet precisely.
He stood on that bridge for a good long time, watching the streaking lights of the traffic below, reviewing his miserable life.
Wishing I'd been born in a different body. Regretting all the books I would never write.
And maybe even trying to get himself to reconsider. Then the 412 Express to Washington blew in the distance. By then, he was barely able to stand and closed his eyes, and when he opens them, there is something straight out of Ursula Le Guin standing by his side. The golden mongoose.
Very placid, very beautiful, gold lime eyes that
Reach through you.
we stare at each other.
And then the whistle blew again and his eyes snapped shut and
It was gone.
the train was getting nearer now, and so before he could lose his courage, he threw himself into the darkness. Dude missed. Dude misses 18 proper and hits the freshly tilled loam of the divider. Instead of finding himself in nerd heaven, where every nerd gets 58 virgins to roleplay with, he woke up at Robert Wood Johnson Hospital with 2 broken legs and a separated shoulder. A day later, Lola arrives from Madrid. Why didn't you take care of Oscar? Why didn't you, Junie? She runs over to her brother, sits down, and grabs his hand. Hey, mister, are you okay? And Oscar just shakes his head no. And I go back to my life. Head back to my lonely mother and to Torab London Terrace. Only once did I drop in to visit because I was already in P-Town visiting one of my sucias. Me and Oscar sit in his room for a little bit, not saying much. I stare at all his books and all his games.
It was foolish of me, ill-advised.
Yeah, you could say that twice. Yo, what the heck were you thinking, O?
I didn't know what else to do.
Well, dude, you don't want to be dead. Look, take it from me. No poon is bad, But dead is like no poon times 10.
It was the curse that made me do it, you know?
Man, come on, Oscar. You know I don't believe in that shit. Bro, that's our parents' shit.
It's ours too. After graduation, Oscar moves back home. Left a virgin, returned one. He goes back to subbing at his old high school, Don Bosco, starts sending his stories and his novels out. No one seems interested. Still, I keep on trying and I keep on writing. I'm going to be the Dominican Tolkien.
On the outside, Oscar just simply looks tired. No taller, no fatter. Inside, he is in a world of hurt. He sees black flashes before his eyes. He sees himself falling through the air. He sees himself at the game room, picking through the miniatures for the rest of his life.
I don't want this future, but I can't see how it could be avoided. I can't figure my way out of it.
It's Foucault. Foucault. The darkness. Some mornings, he would wake up and not even be able to get out of bed.
Like I had a 10-ton weight on my chest, as if I was under acceleration forces.
After he had been at Don Bosco for nearly 3 years, his moms finally asks, mira, what plans do you have for the summer? I haven't seen mi madre en mucho tiempo. Y tengo promesas que cumplir, so better now than when I'm dead.
My elder spirits have been talking to me, Ma. I think I might accompany you.
You never go to Santo Domingo, mister.
Yeah, well, I guess I want to try something new.
One, two, three, let's go! Hey, 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 hey! Oh, 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 oh. Every summer, Santo Domingo slaps the diaspora engine into reverse, yanks back as many of us expelled children as it can. Airports choke with the overdressed. Luggage carousels groan under the accumulated weight of the year's paquetes and cadenas. Pilots fear for their planes. Restaurants, clubs, malecones, beaches, resorts, hotels, motels, barrios, campos swarm with Quisqueyanos from the world over, like someone sounded a general reverse evacuation order. Back home, everyone. Vamos, 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 vamos. Familia de Leon flew down to the island on the 15th of June. Oscar, scared shitless and excited. But no one was funnier than their mother, who got all done up like she was having an audience with King Juan Carlos of Spain himself. If she owned the fur, she would have worn it. Anything to communicate the distance I travel, to emphasize how not like the rest of these Dominicanos I was. Oscar, for one, had never seen her looking so dolled up and elegante, or acting so comparona. Belisa was giving everybody a hard time, from the checking people at the counter to the flight attendants. And when they finally settled into their seats in first class, she was paying. I know, esta no son gente de quality. It was also reported that Oscar drooled on himself and didn't wake up for the meal or the movie, only when the plane touched down and everybody clapped.
What? What is going on?
Relax, mister. That just means we made it. It really was astonishing how much he'd forgotten about the DR. The little lizards that crawled everywhere. The sounds of the roosters in the mornings like, followed shortly by the cries of the platanero and the bacalao guy like, ¿Cuánto por un peso? ¿Cuánto por un peso? ¿Cuánto por un peso? Vecina, llegó el bacalao. Vecina, compre su bacalao. Ahora mismo, 10 por 1, 2 por tierra. Vecina, and his tío, Carlos Moya, who smashed him up that first night with shots of Brugal, and who got all misty at the memories he had of him and his sister when they were little. But what Oscar had forgotten most about is how incredibly beautiful Dominican women are. To which Lola said, duh. On those rides homeboy took the first couple days, he almost threw his neck out. Wow. 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 I'm in heaven. Oigan, ¿de qué heaven? Tú aquí es un maldito infierno.
Her name is Yvonne Pimentel. She lives 2 houses over from the De Leons.
One of those golden mulatas that French-speaking Caribbeans call chavines, that my boys call chicas de oro. The 2 times Oscar bumps into her during breaks in his writing at the local cafe, she smiles at him. The next time, and here, folks, is where the miracles begin. She sits at his table. So, what are you reading? Holy shit. Holy shit. A female is talking to him. The next time he runs into her, it's outside of her house. Buenos dias, Mr. De Leon. How are you?
I'm well. And you?
I am well, thank you.
It's very hot today.
Huh? I see. And here I was thinking it was my menopause. Come inside. I give you a drink. She leads him inside her house, gives him a beer, has a double scotch herself, then for the next 6 hours regales him with tales of her life. Turns out, Yvonne actually knows his abuela. You're the boy in her pictures.
I was little then.
The whole time Oscar is sweating bullets. And it isn't until midway through their chat that it hits him that the job Yvonne talks so volubly about is prostitution. By the time he leaves her house later that night and walks through the island, million-attack mosquitoes, he's lost.
I'm in love.
Mira, muchacho, do you know that mujer esa puta?
Did you know she bought the house coleando? Well, do you know that her aunt is a judge? And did you know that her father works for the phone companies?
No, y no. If you want a mujer, yo te busco una buena mujer. Pero that puta is only going to take your money.
I don't need your help. And she ain't a puta.
The next day, at 1 p.m., Oscar puts on a clean chacabana and strolls over to Yvonne's house. He feels light on his feet. He feels weightless. Life.
Yay. Thank you, Kelvin. Another round of applause for Kelvin, please. So can you all take a moment to speak to your neighbor, talk about what struck you about this performance or anything that stood out for you? Take a moment. Okay, and as we are waiting for our actor to return, does anyone like to share what stood out for them in that performance? Oh, he's coming. We're all family here. Don't be shy. Yeah, another applause. Yes, I just want to clap for you. All right. Any questions for Kelvin? There's microphones right up there in the center. Please come up, ask your question, and say your name too.
You don't have to rush to the mic. It's totally, go easy. Oh, there we go.
Got one. Yeah, let's clap for her. Yes.
It always takes one to start it off.
It does.
Hi,
Hi.
my name is Veronica. You did a great job, honestly.
Thank you. Thank you.
I guess I have sort of two questions. One is how are you able to embody such two incredibly different, like, Dominican men, one very suave, one incredibly nerdy. And also, like, your transition to them flying to the Dominican Republic, like, and you're dancing and getting into it. Was that a creative choice, or was that something that
Yeah.
just is written in? Because it's not in the book, but
Right,
like,
right.
I really love it.
Yeah, I think maybe to start with your second question, I tried to lean into my experiences as much as possible in order to really believe that I'm in those scenarios. Like, I really get lost in the imagination of being in the airport and you know, going through. I mean, having been to DR numerous times and having grown up in Dominican Republic for some time, I know what that journey is like. So I leaned in on that as much as I could, using just the words, and whatever the words didn't give me, I would try to build that with my movement and with what I'm hearing in my head and stuff like that. And you know, the goal was to try to build this world with all of us so that you can have a sense of it, you know, not just me, not just watching me, but also hearing it from me and kind of trying to transport you to that area. And especially coming off of the previous scene where he's just attempted to take his life and he's in this deep depression. For me as a performer, in order to also like lift off from that, I lean into like that 180 of the world changing and of going to the Dominican Republic and everything that's happening. You know, I try to really like springboard off of that so that I don't get stuck, you know, in what was just happening. And remind me your first question again?
Oh yeah, how were you able to
Yes.
embody such
Characters.
different characters?
I got in touch with my nerdy side. I was the kid that on baseball trips to upstate, to wherever, even baseball trips to DR, I would be the one reading Harry Potter on the bus to the game, and everyone's making fun of me. But I could not stop reading the novel. This is book 5. It just came out last week. I gotta find out what happens to Harry. Like, I was just so into it. I was that kid, right? So I leaned in onto that. But I also grew up in a Dominican household, and I can say that I've seen the best and the worst of Dominican male culture. And so I was able to borrow from that and build Junior's character. So it was a lot of like finding nuggets of those two characters in myself and then borrowing from everyone else, putting it together, practicing it a lot, and then eventually just letting go. And usually for every performance, finding one thing that's gonna be my guiding light, my North Star. And it'll change per performance, but it'll be anything from leaning into how much love Oscar carries within him, how much he wants to really be heard, and yet he just doesn't know how to express himself. The guilt that Junior carries for being this type of person, and then realizing later in life that that's not the person that he wanted to be, but still carrying that guilt of having been that person. And most of the time it'll just be love for the story, love for how I felt when I read the book, and feeling like reading every page and going like, yo, that's my family. That's That's my house in DR. Like, this is my cousin. Like, I'm literally reading through the pages. And I'm like, this is me. This is crazy. You know, I've never seen that. I had never seen that anywhere in any other piece of literature. So holding on to that and remembering how I felt with that experience, saying, all right, I'm going to give that to you guys. And yeah, that's the journey.
Thank you.
Thank you for your question. Any more thoughts or questions?
Yes, here we go. Let's clap. They're coming to the microphone. Yay.
My name is Nisha. I don't know if you need to clap for that one, but
Yes.
how many? Like, have you read the book multiple times, or how do you
Yeah.
prepare that way?
Yeah. I think at this point I've read the entire book from beginning to end 3 times, but the sections from where the adaptation comes from, those parts I've read it maybe like at this point altogether 10, 15 times. And it's all part of just forgetting that I performed this and just going back into like, let me read the novel again and find out what's going on. And every time I read it, I'm like, oh, I forgot about this thing. Or like, oh, that's what's driving this character. Oh, yeah, that's right. So that's a little bit part of the preparation process. But for me, I think the 3 main points are reading the actual script, the adaptation, making sure that the words are in my body and I don't have to think about remembering the words. All I need to know is just the first 5, and after the first 5, I can just know that I can just write it out and I won't be panicking. The second thing that I do is warm up the voices. I have to find where the voices live in my body, and that's a combination of like getting into a shape for a particular character and then finding where it is in the whatever here or here or here or here. And then talking like that for 10, 15 minutes, or read like a passage from the book, or read a nutrition label, whatever. But it's just about speaking in those voices so that then when I'm performing, my body knows how to find them. I can just be like here, and I turn, and off of that turn, my body knows like, okay, we're hitting this pitch, we're hitting this shape, and we have this intensity, boom. And then I switch back, and it's like, okay, bring it back to over here, it's this shape, keep the intensity. And it's just that dance of like, find it, bring the energy that you had, and find the voice, find the shape, keep going, keep going, keep going. And there are some really great moments where it's a really weird experience where in character I say something to another character that's really hurtful, and then the other character receives it and I receive the pain. And I'm like, how did I give myself pain? But there it is. So then now I carry this pain, I go back, and now this character is feeling pain, but they still, so now it's like hurt and pain at the same time. So here's more pain back. And then it's like, whoa, okay, now I'm really feeling that. I'm gonna have a stressful back when I go to sleep tonight because I really went in on myself. And somehow I think that's like the whole point of acting. But yeah, that's sort of like how it happens.
Thank you.
Thank you for your question. Nice.
Come on down. Yes.
We're warming up.
Hi, I'm Lauren.
Hey, Lauren.
I was really struck by how well you created the world, and like you said in one of your previous answers just now, just how much you lose yourself imaginatively, or just how you just let yourself fall into that imagination. So I'm wondering, in terms of like creating the world, I'm wondering if you think like how you create the world in this medium is different than other types of storytelling, and if so, why is it important to create worlds like this?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, definitely it varies because the creation of the world is collaborative. So even if I'm performing by myself, I'm still working with my director, and we're creating that together. We're both figuring out what's going to be a part of a solo show world, the imagination world, the box, right? But if I was to be doing the same type of performance, but with one other person, then me and that other person are going to be creating the imagination world together. So they're going to bring their life experience into it. They're going to hear things differently than the way I hear them, and we have to figure out a way to combine them. So in that case, it would be different. And I would also say that even us, like when you read a book, when you read any book, you bring your own life experience into imagining what's happening in that book. And so, you know, that you and the book together, well, I guess you and the author together are now creating also a world in that sense. So, yeah, I would say, you know, it definitely varies. And I would also add, when I started performing this about 5 years ago, characters, I thought of them differently. They sounded differently. They had different tempos. They had different rhythm. They were fighting for different things. And now, 5 years later, I would say almost every character, those things have changed. I hear them differently, you know, just because of what has happened in the past 5 years in the world and to me. Things change, things tweak, and in just having one character change the way that they speak or their tempo or the relationship between the characters, that then affects the entire piece. And yeah.
And so why do you think it's important that we do it?
So why do you think it's
Why do you
important
think
to
it's
create that?
Yeah, that we create worlds like this, because I don't know if that always happens.
Oh.
You know, even just, I guess you could say, like you said, it's kind of like reading in general. That's something that happens. We're co-creating a world. But I also maybe I'm being a little pessimistic, but I also feel like that's kind of dying out, or it's not, you know, happening as much.
Yeah.
Why if you think it's important?
No, I mean it's important for many reasons, but I think the ability to, like, I don't want to say forget that you're here, but the ability to transport somewhere else, to think differently, even if it's off of reading a book and, you know, you've never been to Utah, but the book is set in Utah. Now you're, she was performing in Utah the last 2 months, and that just popped into my head randomly. You know, if you've never been, now you have to try to create that, and if you don't know how, I think your mind is gonna try to figure out, like, you're gonna work towards that, and the more practice that you have doing that, then I don't know. I think it improves quality of life. I think being able to get lost in your imagination is just it's just a great tool to have. And like any tool, the more you practice it, the more you use it, the better you get at using it, and the better it works for you. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Nice.
Tell me about, my name is Anne.
Hi, Ann.
Tell me about you, what you've done before, what else you do now.
Yeah,
what
sure.
you plan to do 10 years from now?
10 years from now, I plan to be leading a series on Netflix after the 3 others have already gone on. One for Hulu as well, you know, I'm not picky. Yeah, I mean, I can tell you a little bit. Born and raised in New York. I lived in Dominican Republic for about 5 years, then I moved back to the States. Ever since, from the very young age of maybe like 3 to like 14, like any and every other Dominican kid, my dream was to become a Major League Baseball player. And then I tore my arm, and so that wasn't gonna happen anymore. So when I went to college, I decided to study architecture. I grew up kind of around, I grew up with an artsy sense. I was always like drawing, sketching, involved in like community plays at church, you know, doing the Three Wise Men and stuff like that. I was volunteered to go up and do it. And I studied architecture in college. I graduated, I got my degree. I went to University of Virginia, down the block. Worked in the architecture field for 4 years, and after 4 years, I realized that that wasn't what I wanted to do anymore. And through the later years of that, I had been kind of going to acting studios and playing with the bug and like, oh, this is fun, scene study, this and that. And I decided to quit architecture. And about 1 week later, 1 or 2 weeks later, I got the audition for this piece on Facebook. Someone messaged me who I did not know, Paola, messaged me on Facebook and said like, hey, you're Dominican, you're an actor. Juan Bago told me about you. You want to audition for this? And I was like, I don't know this book. I don't know what a solo show is. I have no idea how this works. Yeah, I'll audition for it. heck yes, this is what I signed up for. So, and Elise, if she's still here, she'll tell you, I went to the audition, widely unprepared for an audition, but I think I had a connection to what the story meant, and I was in it. I want to do this. I don't want to do architecture. I'm gonna follow through with this, and I'm gonna just read it, but I'm gonna read it as best as I can. Got a call back and took things more serious, and eventually this was the first job that I booked professionally after quitting, after making that decision in my life. And I guess that maybe tells you a lot about me. But I'll never forget getting the call from Elise on 42nd Street on my way home in front of the Signature Theater and saying, yes, yeah, heck yeah, I'm ready to start in 2 weeks. Yes, cool, thank you. Yes! Started jumping and everything because I couldn't believe it. And yeah, ever since then, been doing this. Thank you.
Doing?
Oh yeah, I mean, beyond performing the solo show for the company, I also helped to manage the company as company manager, and get everybody moving and doing all the admin work. So many hats.
What is the company?
The company is Literature to Life. Yeah.
And do you do other
Yes,
plays
indeed.
as
Yes,
well?
we have 7.
Yes, we do. We do The Giver by Lois Lowry. We had The Late Homecomer, which is a new book. Yes. Tarantino just
There
gave
you
you a
go.
brochure.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, we have a total of 7 titles that are currently active with performers, always available and performing all around the U.S.
Yes, we do. We perform in elementary schools, middle schools, high schools, colleges, and universities, and large venues all around the country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, we got 2 minutes. All right.
All right.
So I have to ask this question because I've asked it to Tarantino and to Chaney. Why is Oscar Wilde relevant? Why do we need to be reading it? Why?
I mean, it's a story of. I think the key thing in the story is that it's a story of standing up for yourself, standing up to oppression, and it's a story of self-discovery. For both of the main characters, for Oscar and for Junior, Junior as narrator and Oscar as the subject of the story, they both start off as one person and become a completely different person by the end of the story. And I think as people, the way that we learn is through stories. I mean, it's the way that we've been learning for hundreds, thousands of years, I would argue. And so the act of reading and seeing where these characters start and where they finish, I think can inspire a person to go on their own self-discovery journey. And, and from the broader, that's more like an internal spectrum, but from a broader spectrum, we're in a world that's, so much is happening. We're under so many different stresses, and this story is about fighting against that. It's Oscar kind of figuring out, what, I need to be me and fight for my love. It's Junior saying, what, I need to be there for my friend. And I think that lesson in some weird kind of way, the way that we come to the theater and we're affected, it can affect us. So I think that's why it's relevant.
Thank you, Kelvin.
Thank you.
Yes. Another round of applause for Kelvin. Grullon? Yes. So we have to wrap this up. Got it before she showed me the card. So once again, we are Literature to Life, and we are located in New York City. We do perform in schools, high schools, middle schools, colleges and universities. We love and enjoy the work that we do. Each of the pieces that you've seen this afternoon were adapted and directed by Elise Theron. Yes, she's right there. Yes. Oh. Yes. Oh, yeah. I'll tell you. And yes, exactly. And also by Wynn Hanman, who's no longer with us. He's the founder of Literature to Life. He also was the founder of the American Place Theater. But his daughter Laura is here. Yes. If you want to learn more information about what we do, if you look for our reps here, our director, Elise, and one of our performers, Tarantino, they have some pamphlets for you to take with you. Please feel free to take one. And thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. We really appreciate it. Thank you.